Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 dramatic Degrassi moments.
Why do you keep poking holes in my plans? I'm trying to fix this!
For this list, we'll be looking at some of the most unforgettable moments from all incarnations of this franchise. As we're discussing Degrassi, please note there will be mentions of sensitive topics ahead. Which high-stakes Degrassi moment affects you the most? Let us know in the comments. Number 20. Emma meets her online boyfriend. The tagline for this show is, "It goes there." And it certainly wastes no time doing just that.
One noise, and I tape your mouth. And I don't think you'd want that.
Emma learns about the dangers of the internet when her online boyfriend turns out to be a grown man. Her friends come to her aid in the end. And that's not the only time they'd have to intervene in her life.
I'll always try to listen. And I'll try to understand, but we have to keep talking, okay?
Peter and Manny throw an intervention when they discover her unhealthy relationship with food, something Spike wouldn't even know about until that very moment.
You're hiding food.
You've got major psycho mood swings.
You're just not you. We're worried.
Both are incredibly difficult plotlines to watch unfold, but very necessary cautionary tales. Number 19. Marco comes out to Spinner. Spinner is certainly one of the more immature characters in TNG, especially early on in its run. But even for him, the reaction he has to Marco coming out is over the top.
Because what? Because I'm gay.
The other guys in their friend group may have been a bit surprised, but they ultimately supported their friend. Spinner, on the other hand, is not nearly as receptive.
So what now, huh? What, are you freezing me up with the guys? Why you want to come anyway?
It's hockey, not ballet.
He writes mean things on the bathroom wall about Marco and accuses him of trying to cop a feel after Marco saves his life by performing the Heimlich maneuver. Thankfully, Spinner eventually comes around, but his friend definitely didn't deserve the hard time he was put through, especially not by someone he thought he could count on.
Man, all I did was tell you the truth.
I never asked you to.
And just like I didn't ask to be gay.
Number 18. Goldie is a victim of a hate crime. All incarnations of this show make it a point to tell the stories of different marginalized people, and they often use timely issues to do so. This particular storyline revolves around Goldie, a Muslim student who wears a hijab.
It says they have a credible threat. It seems a little much. It happened all the way across the ocean.
She is constantly dealing with her classmates either mistreating her over it or trying to convince her it is a repressive part of her culture.
Mom and Dad don't make you wear it. It's your choice.
Because it makes me feel closer to God.
It's also a giant billboard that says, I'm different.
Either way, people seem to always be telling her to take off her hijab, and it isn't long until someone takes it upon themselves to do just that.
You want to get home, right?
Listen to your boyfriend. He's not my boyfriend.
This scene is so brutal and so close to the reality so many face that the impact is felt tenfold. Number 17. Adam's identity. Characters who are transgender are so rarely featured in major TV shows or movies, even today. That's why Degrassi's Adam Torres is so important.
I told you, Gracie's gone.
Will you please just consider it?
Considering, no. Sorry, I'm not playing dress up for anyone.
His story resembles that of so many other transgender or gender fluid people. When Adam has a crush on Bianca, she doesn't just reject him, she threatens violence.
Look, you need a partner, I need a partner. You need therapy. Touch me again, and I'll kill you.
His friend Dave has a hard time accepting his gender identity as well. Things get so bad, Adam even attempts to return to his former identity. And you can see how miserable he is every single second. It's heartbreaking to say the least. And the only comfort we get is knowing that Adam eventually manages to surround himself with good, loyal people. Number 16. Claire has cancer.
There's no way you have cancer.
Right. You'll find out your test results are negative and we'll be strolling along the Champs-Elysees where you two can help me find her and Garçon.
What should have been the best summer of Claire's life was fraught with illness and uncertainty. It seemed to come completely out of nowhere, but that's how things work in real life.
What, is the zipper stuck?
No, there's like a lump or something.
A lump?
There's no dramatic buildup. These kinds of things just happen to undeserving people. In fact, the lack of dramatic anticipation is counterintuitively exactly what makes this moment so dramatic. More often than not, on Degrassi, things seem to work out for the best, but we all got hit with that gut punch when Claire got her diagnosis.
The lump on my back tested positive for
rhabdomyosarcoma. I have cancer.
Number 15, Darcy's breakdown.
Listen, last time I saw you were passed out. There were a lot of people around, people we don't know. It was out of control.
Here's a development that hits you like a freight train. While at a party, Darcy leaves her drink unattended. She believes the night ended with her boyfriend, until she's made aware that someone was going around spiking drinks.
Can you believe that? Someone's going around and spiking random girls' drinks at parties. It's crazy scary. Totally. So lucky it wasn't one of us.
We see the heavy toll this takes on Darcy in all its horrible graphicness. Her trauma takes her on a horrific downward spiral, and eventually, she tries to hurt herself.
Darcy?
Seeing her so dejected, sitting in the bottom of the school gym shower was completely devastating. We needed a breather after that one. Number 14, Craig's father.
Craig! Okay, I'll be right over.
On the surface, Craig might seem like a carefree guy at school with his friends, but just underneath, he is hiding a dark secret. From the second Craig is introduced as a character, his complicated relationship with his father is put on full display.
When I say 6 o'clock, I don't care how great the light is, you're home.
Just the mention of him seems to make Craig flinch, and we quickly find out why. Even before it is revealed just how bad things really are, Craig's father is so intense with him. We understand exactly why he's terrified. Even though things take a turn for the better when Craig moves in with Joey, we can deeply sympathize when he develops substance use disorder later on in life.
Please. I need it. Don't call Joey.
Number 13, Wheels loses his parents. Wheels really gets a hard shake growing up. First, his biological parents give him up. And then, his adoptive parents get taken away from him when he's a teenager. They are hit by a drunk driver and killed.
There was this drunk driver. He was going too fast. He didn't see the red light.
As one would expect, this causes some serious trauma for Wheels. In fact, his life completely spirals out of control in the following years, well into high school.
My parents were killed, man. Why do you always bring that up? That was over 2 years ago.
He unfortunately isolates the friends who have tried to be there for him until he successfully pushes them away. But the most inexcusable thing he does is fulfill some sort of horrific karmic cycle. In a cruel twist of dramatic irony, Wheels gets behind the wheel of a car while drunk and ends up committing manslaughter and injuring a friend.
Okay, son, you're gonna have to come with me.
Number 12, Craig's bipolar disorder. While most consider the show's portrayal of bipolar disorder to be relatively accurate, as with most things, it's up for debate.
You're bipolar. You've got a chemical imbalance in your brain, but you're getting help.
Still, it is one of Degrassi's longest-running narratives for a character. Just as much as this show is known for going there, it is also kind of infamous for introducing character beats that don't go anywhere. This was not the case here.
Craig, don't.
Ash and I are getting married.
Craig shows signs of mental health issues very early on that continue through to discovering his diagnosis and beyond. He has flashes of rage, manic happiness, and overall intense mood swings.
Our son Craig was the greatest gift he'd ever received. A gift he cherished. A gift he never wanted to relinquish.
Craig even unfortunately ends up hospitalized at one point. Number 11, Manny's abortion.
I have a doctor's appointment to make sure. But I took this test, and I'm pretty sure I'm pregnant.
This is still one of the show's most remembered arcs. While Manny's decision to end her pregnancy might be dramatic enough, this storyline is about much more. It's also about sex education and knowledge, responsibility, body autonomy, the pro-life and pro-choice debate, and gender stereotypes. There's a lot to unpack here. Firstly, Manny is put in a position where she feels like she has to sleep with Craig. Secondly, the two do so without asking about protection. Thirdly, as is so common in these situations, everyone judges Manny, but Craig mostly gets a pass. Lastly, this moment is a test of Emma and Manny's friendship. Even though Emma disagrees with Manny's decision, she has her back.
If she was just some stranger, I would be furious with her, but she's my friend. And it's her choice.
Number 10, Spike's pregnancy.
I think I'm pregnant.
Those of us who grew up watching The Next Generation may have thought that Manny's story was the first of several teenage pregnancies throughout the franchise. But we were wrong. The OG teenage pregnancy storyline goes to Spike Nelson from the original show, Degrassi Junior High.
We're coming to the clinic with you.
I don't want to go to the clinic.
Then we'll buy you a test from the drugstore. You gotta find out for sure. Go crazy if you don't.
Similar to Manny, she struggled with the decision of whether or not to go through with the pregnancy.
I don't want to have an abortion, but I don't want to have a baby. I don't want any of this. I'm just a kid.
Dissimilar to Manny, though, Spike's decision resulted in her daughter. It's a beautiful message that seems to say what's right for one person might not be for another, and vice versa. Number 9, Jane and her dad. Jane is hands down one of the most badass students to ever walk the halls of Degrassi. She's always so confident and sure of herself, even when things seem to be out of control.
You know, I'm proud of you, dude. You're helping your brother even though he's a loser, and you got your license. It's pretty sweet.
While we've seen these storylines in the franchise before, we hadn't seen them quite at this magnitude before, and involving a parent no less. Part of what makes this so dramatic is the fact that Jane's own mind plays tricks on her after all the lies she was fed.
You in your damn backwards pajamas.
Watching her struggle with putting all the pieces together is so difficult. But it is equally empowering when she's finally able to find the right words and her brother has her back.
She's got it right. Lucas, come on. You should go. No one in this family ever wants to see your face again.
Number 8, Campbell Saunders.
Eli,
Don't look! Just go find a teacher and call 911, okay?
This arc is neither the first or last of its kind spanning the Degrassi universe, but it might just be the most powerful of them all. The impact not only transcends the decades, but also the different friend groups. What happened to Cam affected so many people in one way or another. Imagine being Eli finding Cam in the greenhouse. They were never particularly close friends, but how do you ever fully recover from something like that?
How does your dad deal with the things he sees?
I don't know. I guess he just doesn't take it home with him and forgets.
Wish my brain worked like that.
And then there's Maya. It's so much for a 14-year-old to endure, and the aftermath of the tragedy is incredibly emotional.
Wait, there was a mistake. I just saw him the other day. Cam is obviously fine.
Number 7, Paige's court case.
I just want this all to end. I know. And it will. When he goes to jail.
Paige has always been the carefree queen bee who needed to have everything her way. So, after she was taken advantage of at a party, her friends initially saw Paige's foul mood as just business as usual.
Don't touch me. Don't ever touch me.
Why not? Everybody else does.
This was the show's first attempt at this kind of storyline, and in our opinion, they handled it rather responsibly. After finding out the truth, Paige's friends stood at her side, helped her get counseling, and even helped with personal catharsis. Paige herself, when reliving the experience in court, had great bravery and eloquence, even with so many cards stacked against her. Her testimony was an inspiring thing to witness.
I said no, but he is bigger than me. Stronger. I was afraid.
Number 6, Adam dies.
Adam's a fighter.
I know.
Wow, this one is still hard to wrap our heads around. Adam was a majorly popular character whose story was both moving and timely.
Sorry to keep you waiting. She's lucky to be alive.
He is. He's lucky.
I must have the wrong shot here.
No, you don't. It's my son. He's transgender.
This made his death not just a tragedy, but also a widely debated topic of discussion among fans. It's just so senseless, and it led many to wonder why he was killed off in the first place. Okay, they were trying to send a message about texting while driving. We can get behind that.
Come on, signal. Yes.
But we can also think about 1,000 different ways it could have been executed. Still, this was a death that hit immensely hard for everyone, especially fans. Number 5, Esme's breakdown.
Are you okay? You seem a little on edge.
Zig's about to get back together with Maya. Of course I'm on edge.
Similar to Craig's story, Esme shows signs of some sort of mental illness from very early on. She exhibits rage, has mood swings, and seems generally controlling to all of her friends. Deep down, however, she is seriously struggling. Looking back, the moments when Esme clearly needed help seem so apparent, but this one is arguably the most notable.
I've done everything to keep us together. I called it a freaking bomb threat.
On graduation day, she is no longer able to hold herself together, and her friends finally, and we do mean finally, start to understand her. In any case, it's difficult to watch Esme go through it all mostly alone. Number 4. Rick puts Terry in a coma.
If we leave him behind, guaranteed we leave her behind too.
Without any of us to look out for her.
And then it's open season for Rick again.
This moment and its aftermath are probably the most talked about storylines in the next generation's history. Terry's friends weren't sure how to describe it at first, but they got a bit of a weird vibe from Rick from the beginning.
You know, you should come over tonight, just hang out, dish with the girls.
I'm fine, Paige. There's nothing to worry about.
But with the insecurities about her body, Terry was so enamored with the idea of having a boyfriend that she couldn't see it. She was one of the sweetest, most sincere characters on the show, so it hurt that much more to watch this unfold. Rick hurt Terry so badly that she was put into a coma and effectively written out because of it.
Terry, okay, get your cell now.
The look on Paige and Spinner's face when they saw her in the hospital is just unforgettable. Number 3. Snake finds Claude Tanner.
Look, I'm really sorry that it was you that had to find him. Someone had to.
With so many different installments of Degrassi over the years, this is a franchise that transcends generations. And it can be argued that this moment, more than any other throughout, is emblematic of just that. When Campbell Saunders dies and Eli finds him in the greenhouse, Snake is reminded of a similar story he experienced when he himself was a teenager and tells Eli about the time he found a fellow student, Claude Tanner, after he'd harmed himself.
You know, we have a lot more in common than you think.
This moment affects Snake to his core, and you can still see it in his eyes when he relives it years later. Number 2. Jimmy gets shot.
Think they want to know who I am? They want to torture me.
The aftermath of Rick hurting Terry might just be worse than the initial shock of it all. Rick is taunted so brutally after returning to school that he takes drastic action into his own hands in the only way he can see how. The episode is so intense it seems to go on forever, and not just because it's a two-parter. The episode titled Time Stands Still is really emblematic of the episode.
You set the whole thing up.
Rick, come on, I defended you. Is that real?
More than anything else, the most dramatic scene has to be when, thinking Jimmy has played a ruthless prank on him, Rick shoots Jimmy in the back, paralyzing him. Things are never the same after this moment.
Rick put me in this chair for life. For life.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. JT dies. You may have been thinking a moment ago, what could possibly be worse than Jimmy getting shot? Well, nothing rocked the characters and the fans more than this moment. JT was one of the OG characters, a member of the core crew, the quintessential class clown, and beloved among fans. Even more than any other character death or life-changing storyline, this one is absolutely devastating.
You guys slay me with your humor.
Yeah, mascot boy? Laugh at this.
In a bit of revenge, some students stabbed JT in the back, literally. Seeing Liberty cry over JT when she found him is unforgettable. But even then, it's so unbelievable that you might find yourself thinking somehow things will turn out okay. They don't.
Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.